guys, we got a real quick one today. We're gonna go to the dyno, we're gonna do some before and after testing on some basic bolt-ons on the E92 M3. Pretty stoked. I haven't had like a bone stock car that I did really basic bolt-ons to in a long time, so I think this will actually be pretty fun. So if you watch my Home Wrenchers episode, you know I did a Bimmerworld catless X-pipe, an agency power exhaust, and then today we're gonna do an Evolve intake and tune, and then we're gonna take it to EAS, we're gonna throw it on the dyno, and we're gonna compare some numbers from when it was 100% bone stock to now. This way we could see the delta in the numbers, we could see if it's worth it or not, but I'm gonna tell you now it's worth it anyways because it sounds better, it'll drive better, and it'll be more fun. But I want to put some numbers behind it. Also, completely ruined my garage. I thought I was gonna just sheetrock, and then really escalated quick. But I painted the ceiling, and in turn I ruined my floors. So let me know it's a good garage floor option. Since the ECU takes about a half hour to flash, we're gonna do that first. So I got the car plugged into my optimal battery charger, and then I got the computer plugged into my car. So all we're gonna do, program ECU memory. Okay, so a good rule of thumb, you don't want your computer to die, you don't want your computer to go to sleep, you don't want your car to go to sleep. So on the E92, I don't know if this is for every car, but if you put your seat belt plugged in, it'll actually keep the car awake. And then for your computer, go to your favorite YouTube channel like that, and then you just go to a really long video. So just pick anything that Scotto's in. Oh, go check out what Soupy's doing. Yeah, and just let that play in the background because that'll keep your computer on so you don't have to worry about that dying. Let the thing do its business. Oh. Simple. It's these like really simple mods that make you remember why you got into cars and how you get tricked into thinking that working on cars is so easy and enjoyable. Because you're like, I'm gonna just do an intake, and it's like the simplest thing ever. It takes 5 minutes, and then boom, 3 years later, you're doing motor swaps and turbo kits and welding stuff, and you're like, how'd I get here? Why am I wasting my whole life doing this? This is crazy. So, got the old intake out, and as you can see, it's like filled with just sort of crazy ribbings and stuff just to make it, I guess, easier to install. Evolve actually said that like BMW did a really great job with the design of the stock intake box. So what they did is they improved upon the filter. You got a bigger filter, and then a way smoother carbon fiber elbow section, which should help with airflow. And then they actually even include a little carbon scoop for the bumper, which is cool. Tune's all loaded, took way quicker than I expected because it took like 30 minutes to pull the DME read. So we're just gonna pop this thing in and then we'll head over to EAS. So just about the simplest install ever. Also, I realized that I called it an Evolve intake. It's actually an Eventuri intake, and it's made by the same company. I actually had the Evolve carbon airbox, the CSL airbox on my E46, and their tune, so I really liked it. Eventuri intake, Evolve tune. Honestly, kind of awesome that it comes with like a little serial number. And look at these hose clamps. Got hose clamps with their names on it. One last thing. Gotta give a big shout out to my homie Bart over at Anti-Gravity Batteries. Bart was at Pegasus before this, and they were a big supporter of Hoonigan, so they wanted us to try out a couple of these batteries. So, as you know, one of the best ways you can save weight, especially on modern cars, is on your batteries. This is their new lithium-ion battery, and it weighs literally nothing. This weighs, I don't know, 11 pounds. Stock BMW battery weighs 65 pounds. It's a great way to lose a ton of weight, but also it has a built-in feature where if it drains to a certain point, it'll actually shut itself off so that you can restart it. So you never need to jump your car, which is awesome. And it even comes with a key fob. So you could actually like walk away from your car and shut your battery off, which is just kind of a great thing for either like another level of anti-theft, or if you store your car a bunch and you just want to like shut it off without having to pop your hood or like plug in a charger. So it's kind of rad. Size comparison, that they're about the same size. It's a little shorter, but BMW actually has, there's actually another hole for the hold downs, so it works out perfectly. This is super heavy, like so heavy. Look at the strain on the handle. Okay, now let's go hit the dyno. All right, so we came out here to Anaheim to European Auto Source. This is my go-to shop for any BMW stuff. Steve's gonna let me throw the car on the dyno, do a couple pulls, and then we're gonna compare it to the numbers from when the car was bone stock when I first got it.
Naturally, I was ready to just shift this, and then you pick the boot back and get to the wires.
For what, tach signal?
Yeah, just to get the ignition pulse.
Stock power run from when we were here last, 351 horsepower, 267 foot-pounds of torque. This last pull we did right now is 382 horsepower and 285 foot-pounds of torque. There is sort of a weird adaptation curve when you dyno like a newer car. It seems like it will pick up power as it goes through, probably because of the difference in load from the actual road versus on the dyno. So it will continue to pick up some power. We're gonna do like 1 or 2 more pulls, see if we get up to like 385 or maybe even 390, but I think that's actually a really great gain. So right now the car has a Bimmerworld X-pipe, a resonated, agency power exhaust, Eventuri intake, and an evolved tune. That's it, nothing else. Pretty good gains for just pretty simple bolt-on mods. Granted, for a BMW, they are kind of expensive. Overall, it really made the car drive a lot better because throttle mapping is really great, and obviously the sound is such a big part of why that car rules, so that helps a ton. Regardless of if you could really feel the difference in power, the noise and how it drives is way, way, way worth it for me, so I'm super stoked.